Ross Harris. So, Mr. Ross Harris is currently serving life in prison, but is hoping for a new trial. Serving life in prison for, well, he was convicted of leaving his child in the hot car. Now, we done seen shit like this before on the news and whatnot, but it's a very interesting case. It's a very interesting case, if I must say myself, due to all the antics, I will say, the bullshit shenanigans as usual. And I just got my little personal opinions on it, but I'm still actually going over the case, so we're going to have to part two this. But let's just start on what happened, right? Okay, so what happened is, from what I see and from what I'm hearing, is this dude here, Ross Harris, had his child with him, and he was running errands. He was seen, I think it was at a Chipotle or some shit like that, some fast food restaurant place, getting a meal. He was on surveillance camera holding his kid, dad shit. And the shit gets sketchy because the motherfucker go to work. Mr. Ross goes to work, and the end. Seriously, the end. That's how crazy this is. There's a lot of stuff in between, but if you just want to be technical, that's the end. So, he claims he has a bad memory. He has a bad memory. So this dude goes to work because he forgot to drop his kid off. And first things first, rest in peace to that child, because this is a horrible situation. 22 months old.
Oh.
Right.
Not even two.
Fucked up situation. I hate when they say 22 months and shit like that. Just tell me like a year or some change or something like that. Because when I go to court and they be doing all of that, they be like, oh, you got something months. I be in my head, okay, so 12 months is a year. So 36 months, let me see. Like, how long is this? Like, I don't know if I got 3-4 years or nothing yet fucking with this bitch. But anyways, I'm still trying to count in my head. You know what I'm saying? You look lost. No, I'm counting. Forgot to carry the one. But but back to this though. So he forgot to drop his child off at the daycare and went to work. Parked his car, windows up, went to work and forgot his child was in the car. In the car seat.
Man.
Right? Right. And while he's at work, they were saying he was sexting girls, and one of them was 17 years old. So while he was at work and his child was in the car, he's sexting women allegedly, and one is 17 years old. So he got a case for that as well. Now, this is where I'm kind of iffy on this dude. I do believe in mistakes, but you're trying to go off of a bad memory. That's not a bad memory. There's something more to that. How do you forget you have a whole child in the car?
Right.
But that's not all. This is where I just can't fuck with you. You went to lunch with your coworkers in their cars, whatever. And while y'all was out at lunch, he went to go buy some light bulbs. And when he bought the light bulbs, he dropped them off in his car.
And he still never knows.
And went back to work.
Oh.
That's kind of... So, let's just say he was convicted and he got life in prison. Right? Okay.
Right.
Now, I don't Now the other shit, the reason why he got life, I don't think it was because of the child shit. You know, we can get some child endangerment. We can get maybe some manslaughter or second degree murder, something in that nature. But life, I would have gave his ass something else. But we'll get to that in closing. But you know, it's. I believe he was convicted on the life just because of the other substance that was involved with this. Not only did you murder, well, not only did you leave your child in the car, you were sexting other women, and one of them was a 17-year-old woman. Now, that shit right there, you put that in the jury's head, and along with this right here, that's a lot for them to take in consideration. And you're clearly finna have some jurors rooting against you automatically. Automatically. Now, if the trial was just on you leaving your child in the car, and that was just the end of the story, then, and they were just talking about that case alone, maybe the outcome wouldn't have been life. If there wasn't all the, you know, because the DA was trying to make it seem like when they said he wants to live a child-free life, so he can, you know, share the D with the community. You know what I'm saying? He wants to live a child-free life. Long story short, and be a man whore. It's what the DA was trying to make it seem like. So what better way to do that is to leave your child in the car and act like you forgot because you have such a bad memory. And the DA wound up winning that case. But I just don't think they won that case just off of the child being left alone in the car. I believe they won that case because of all the other variables that was involved in this case. Like I said, you're pretty much a, I don't know, a bad husband, or you're just a cheating mofo. And the worst case is like your child is dead and you're sending dick pics to, or sexting, whatever that involves, what kind of nudity or content the text involve. You're doing that at work while your child is in the car. They said temperatures reached inside 120 inside the car. And yeah.
That's a big pill to swallow, but I do think that when you incriminate somebody, especially when you start talking about the child, like, I know you have to view activities, but you can't, you're trying to damage his character and use how he is as a man, even if he's a cheating spouse or whatever the situation may be. I don't think you are such a cheater that you want to kill off your child. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't think the two should go hand in hand, but I can see how they use that to try and win their case. But had they not had, you know, these negative things against his character, then, like you said, I think that it would have been a lesser sentence, or it wouldn't have gone that way. But because y'all have all this other incriminating evidence, and that evidence still don't justify you leaving your child in the car. That just says that you like to go and do other stuff with other women. And I don't think dragging in what he do in his personal life as a man has anything to do with it, because it don't speak on your character as a father. You had your child, you went to the store, you did whatever. You clearly supposed to be dropping the child off at school. It's just,
I got mixed emotions on that just because.
It's mixed.
Let me ask you this. You go to work every day, right? And you take care of your kids. So, by the time you leave early in the morning to go to work, how many times do you at least think about your kids, or know you have kids, or think of something that you want to do for your kids, whether it's hair, pick them up later, or what? How many times do your kids run across your mind?
It don't stop.
Right. So how the fuck do you go, you know, like a whole motherfucking day of being at work, sexing, and going to lunch and buying light bulbs and shit without not once thinking about that's a fairly new child. It's 22 months, not even 2, right?
Right.
Right. That'll be 24 months, right? Usually probably be 2.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm counting real quick in the
Yeah,
head.
you're doing good. I would think though, like, Because in my mind, I would have to know, how do you forget such a thing? Are you not used to taking your child to school every day? Because some people, that's not a routine thing. Was it just one of those things where it was your morning and that's just not part of your routine? I mean, it really ain't nothing that can justify, in my personal opinion. I get it. I can be understanding on how you may have forgotten it because that's out of the ordinary. You're not used to it. I get all of that. But even with that being said, you got to be responsible enough to know what you're supposed to be doing and get that stuff done. Like leaving a whole child in the car.
See, my thing is I can't even understand that just off the what I was saying a minute ago about going a whole day. Like you don't even think about, man, I had to go drop him off at the daycare. I'm gonna have to go pick him up today. Like that don't never cross your mind, cause like I know me, when I think the day is over, I be like, fuck, I still gotta go do this or whatever. I still gotta cook for the kids. You know, you in relaxed mode. It's like something just reminds you, like, if it just you were just holding him about an hour ago. I mean, you put him in the car seat and you passed up the daycare and whatever, didn't even pass it or just didn't go, or I just cannot fathom not even thinking about my child for 6 hours.
And then even on your ride to work, I'm one of those parents, like, I'm a nervous wreck, especially when your child is that young. I'm always worried about, shoot, did I make sure I made the car seat was strapped in straight? You know, are you talking? I'm looking in the rearview mirror to make sure you're not choking, making sure you good. I mean, it's just certain things you do when your children are in the car. You don't just flat out ignore them to the point that you even forget they're in the car. And then a 22-month-old, that baby is probably just now learning how to talk and like having conversations with itself. I mean, and you buying lunch and shit, so clearly the baby not sleeping in the car. And even if it was, you still,
Yeah, this is a odd thing, but what I will say, back going to the case and whatnot, is that I just didn't have faith in the jury on this. They took a bunch of other things into consideration than just the facts, and it's just hard to get a fair trial these days. But yeah, you got that bad character evidence. Then they're trying to say that it's false that he was sexing underage women. But the thing I find interesting is that the defense wasn't allowed to cross-examine the detectives during the case. I haven't heard of nothing like that of the DA being able to bring up a witness and the witness not being able to be cross-examined. I have not heard of that before, so that was kind of interesting to me that they were not allowed to do that.
The DA, to me, they get kind of sketchy sometimes. To me, it seemed like they willing to do whatever they have to do to win a case. You know what I'm saying?
That's their job.
That is their job. So
it's sad.
It is sad. Like, somebody's life is in your hands, and 9 times out of 10, it ain't always fair. Y'all will pull out whatever you have to pull out, and then who says he was sexing an underage female? Like, where did that even come from?
Well, you know, they want to know what you was doing at that time where your son was in the car.
Your witnesses.
You're like, what was you doing? For you to forget about your... First of all, they want to go over text messages, and they want to go over internet shit and da-da-da-da. And they try to lie and say at first that he had on his internet history about leaving kids in a hot car, but that came out to be false. But when you put that shit in the air, some people don't know how to let it go. You know what I mean? But here's where he really fucked up, in my personal opinion. Usually, I tell people it's a real sketchy when you testify on your own behalf. But in this case, the jury was already against you. They had already moved the trial fucking 300 and something miles away, but you can't move TV, you can't move news, you can't move shit that's on YouTube. You just can't. It don't matter where you move it to. People is gonna know what the fuck went down.
Yeah.
From media, and media's gonna make everything sound worse than it is. But not even to sit here and minimize the situation, because you lost a whole ass child that was you supposed to be grooming for life, and you harmed him and you failed as a parent, and there's no excuses for that. No way, shape, form, nor fashion. But The jury was against you already. You already knew that with all the other variables that was in this case, and you chose not to testify. And I believe you should have testified. Let them jury hear you. And yeah, it's gonna be hard because the DA was gonna get up in your ass, but let the jury sit here and feel that emotion of a father that you really hurt. It was really an accident, and let them feel that, let them see that, let them hear that, and you failed at doing that, and this is the result. You got convicted with life without the possibility of parole. You know, right? And he's asking for a new trial. But look, this is what I would have did to him, just off of the child situation. I really wouldn't care if it was an accident, like really just an accident. I would still make this man, I need 18 years of your life. Because you were supposed to be raising a young man. Right. And you destroyed that. I'm going to need 18 years of your life. And that's just being nice. Yeah. But I actually do not have no problem, sadly, with life. Because you took a life and you didn't have no regard for life. Like, how are you not thinking about your child when you over here sending dick pics and shit like that, like, or whatever the fuck it is you're doing? I don't give a fuck what you was doing. You just can't forget no shit like that. If your memory is so bad, and they were trying to make examples like he'll get a paycheck and forget to pay it. No, that just means you're not hella broke. Because if you needed your bread, you're not finna forget to cash a check. But if you knew that it was time to do some different things with your life when you're finna have a goddamn child. Yeah. If I knew I had what's that shit motherfuckers just fall asleep? Epilepsy. Sleep apnea. Yeah, like they just fall asleep out of nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say I knew I had that and I got a baby on the way. I don't think I'm gonna be sitting here unattended holding my baby. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a condition. You fuck around, fall asleep, and you got a problem. Right. Baby falls. I mean, and to me, that's murder too. You knew that's what you do. Right. So I just can't, you know. But that's how I feel about the situation. Many more details is going to be coming out, so I will be still going over this case. But what you feel? You think life in prison is too harsh, or you think he should be able to see the outside world again?
I mean, you did it, and then for you not to want to testify, sit there.
Yeah, you gotta sit there, sir. That's what I would do. You took a life, so it is what it is. But let me know your thoughts on that, and I will be doing an update version on this case because I know they're going back to court. So drop me a comment. Let me know what you think.